Assalamu Alaikum everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a wonderful day. This is one of the videos that I consider really important, and I say that because if you don't understand some of the things that we're going to talk about today, you can forget about investing, you can forget about setting up for your future. There's so many people out there who are working day in day out and not investing a penny, living the life maybe, or sometimes just genuinely struggling. And it really hurts me to see like a lot of people go through this, because I went through this in my early 20s when I was just off, just graduate from university, getting all this money. I'm like, wow, this is amazing, and enjoying every penny, living paycheck to paycheck, and then so on. And it's only later on that it hit me, okay, what on earth am I doing? I'm working like a donkey every single month and I'm getting paid, alhamdulillah, it was decent money. But what am I doing with this money? And I wish I knew this earlier. I wish I started this earlier. Although, I've never been a flashy kind of person, but I still spend that money. I bought every single iPhone or Samsung, whatever. I'm a kind of Samsung guy. So I've been buying Samsung phones every time they come out. Before then it was iPhones. I love gadgets. I'll buy this one, that one. And it got to a point where even trainers and jeans and stuff that were not like, stuff that were material, stuff that were just kind of wearing off, and then brand new shiny thing comes off next, comes on the market next month and so on. So you're kind of doing like keeping up with the Joneses, more or less basically, in your 20s and so on. And I know there's a lot of youngsters, mashallah, a lot of brothers and sisters watch the channel are quite young, and I'm so happy that you guys are here. So if I can pass on, I'm like I said to you guys, I'm 36 now, alhamdulillah. I've done that side of things, and I just want to pass on some information, something that can help you potentially. And this is not like, I'm not giving you any new information, I'm just kind of remind you of some of the things that potentially might be holding you back. Maybe you're in a position where right now you've been working for quite some time, you got to a point where you realized, okay, I'm getting there, and I have, when it comes to retirement and so on, and I haven't set anything up for myself or for the future of my kids and so on. Because the last thing you want to do as a parent, inshallah, a lot of you, if you have not reached that situation, you will. And you don't want to be like you basically, you want to set up like generational wealth. That's the word. Okay, so what I want to do today is we'll go over some of the things that you should be doing the moment you get paid. The day payday comes, that should be an exciting day. Not an exciting day to spend, but an exciting day to do something for yourself, for your future, for your family and so on in the future. So let's get started. But before we do that, please like the videos. Genuinely helps a lot, for me and for others out there. So the more people that see this, the more we benefit for all of us from this thing. Okay, and inshallah, if you've got basically if you are able to, and you can spare 15p per day for the next few months, at least to come and trial it out, come and join the Discord, see all the buys and sales that we're making, dividend trackers, get hold of these things while you set up your own portfolios and so on, ETF trackers, ask questions, inshallah, and so on. And let me know if there's any specific questions. Once you're here, inshallah, there's a lot of little things that you can benefit from, inshallah. Yeah, let's get started. So the whole purpose, like I said, is what do you do the day the payday comes? So Pay Cheque Routine to Master Every Payday, and that's basically the title of this video. And you get paid, what do you do? Okay, I'm going to try to help you hopefully understand. And this is what I do, genuinely. This is what I've been doing, especially for the last, I will say, 6 years or so. This is what I have been doing. This is why I've changed. It kind of helped me change my mentality, and that's all I needed to do. So how many Americans, before we get to basically these ideas, how many let's go talk about basically the main, like, why are we even doing this? So this is a title. Okay, so how many Americans are living paycheck to paycheck? So this comes from Forbes.com website. It said in 2023, which is basically just last year, a survey conducted by the payroll.org highlighted that 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, a 6% increase from the previous year. Think about this. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That means they get paid, they take that money, they use it, and as soon as then basically they come to that end of that month, they're struggling to get to the next one. Paycheck to paycheck, no savings, no nothing. Okay. In other words, more than 3/4 of Americans struggle to save or invest after paying for their monthly expenses. That is absolutely shocking status. 78%. Okay, we'll come to the UK in a second. So how much do Americans have saved? So how much do they actually save from their salaries, for example? So these are the savings. These are all the respondents, so the people that have been basically being surveyed, the respondents who are living paycheck to paycheck. So this is probably the category that we're looking at. Respondents whose income does not cover standard expenses. So these are people who get paid, but their basically expenses is way higher than their income. And these are the guys who are actually enjoying their life, whose income exceeds their standard expenses. So they have excess money lying around. So on the top part here, they don't actually have much. But when you come to the bottom part, because you can see they can save over 2,000 easily. So almost 40% of the people that are surveyed that are, living the life, if those who are probably saving every single month, they've got about 40%. Basically, they can save over, for 40% of them can save over £2,000. And this is really shocking. Look at this. Look, okay. People that are living paycheck to paycheck, 7%. Okay. So 1 to 100. So 7% of them said basically they might have a dollar to 500. 501 to 1,000. So this is, for me, this is absolutely shocking. This is really bad. Like the fact that you don't even have basically savings over £2,000. And this is something we talk about all the time, is when you start investing, we always say make sure you have a emergency fund that will get you through if something happens to you on your work and so on. At least basically you have 3 to 6 months of expenses completely covered. So if you need £3,000 per month, make sure you've got 3 months to 6 months of basically expenses. Okay, all your expenses covered for the next 3 to 6 months basically. Okay, that's just basically basic standard. Right, so let's talk about the UK. It says here, this came from the Independent, and it said 26% of the people earning basically 100,000 plus living month to month, it causes squeezes. Now, there's not that many people in the UK that I know of that are actually earning over 100,000 plus a month. So that must be the top guys around basically in the UK. And around 1 in 4 people earning 6-figure salaries say they are living paycheck to paycheck, according to survey. And by the way, that's how we spell paycheck to paycheck in comparison to the US version of it. Now, that's really crazy. The fact that a 6-figure salary, people are saying, you know what, we live in paycheck to paycheck. You're getting 100,000 pounds and you live in paycheck to paycheck. That cost basically shows you is the cost of living in the UK is absolutely ridiculous right now. So some 26% of people surveyed across the United Kingdom with an annual cost of income of 100,000 plus said they had no money left at the end of the month. Imagine you get 100,000 plus and you're not basically saving a penny of that. That's absolutely ridiculous. 9 in 1, so 90% of those people said they were living paycheck to paycheck, attributed basically to the cost of living increase. Basically, that has been the main thing anyway in the UK for the last few years since COVID and Brexit happened. While 38% blamed the rise in mortgage payment and 29% said debt repayment were causing them problems, while 11% pointed to car finance costs. For me, that's the craziest one. Car finance costs, because if they get 100,000 plus, right, all they're doing is just, let me get the mortgage, let me get the car, and I'm going to pay off these things for the rest of my life. And then COVID happens, other things happen, they make it redundant, this happens, that happens, and then before you know, they get cars and houses that get repossessed, which is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, so people are getting 100,000 are actually living paycheck to paycheck. Can you imagine those people who are actually way less than that? Way less than that. Those people cannot even feed their family. I went to a family not long ago and I stayed with them for a few days. And one of the things that I noticed was the lights were not on and the room was quite cold. And when I asked my mate, and it was my mate, I'll admit, okay, I said to him, what's going on? And he was like, bro, the cost of this. And I was like, yeah, I understand that, but it's you got kids, man. So the heater were not on because the room was cold, and then the lights were not on until almost after Maghrib, and then after that everything came on. Sorry. So yeah, it does happen. Trust me. So what do we do now? What we need to do is track that money. You get paid, you need to know what you're spending on. So think about spending. You need to know before you start spending. You need to know how much you've got. Download those spreadsheet things. It really helps. I promise you, it really helps. Use paper if that's what you are into. Whatever whatever works for you, use that. Track your income, including your paycheck and any side hustles that you've got. As soon as you get paid, okay, think about the budgeting methods that we all know. I'm sure you have come across. If you haven't, go away and do the bit of research on the needs, wants, and save. Okay, so needs, they say 50% of your income should be basically taking care of your needs. Your needs include your housing, your transportation, and your food. The three big things, the three big ones. Once you've taken care of that, even that you can still budget. You don't have to get everything brand name. You can get the Astor brands and it still tastes even better. Okay, think about the wants. What is it that you need, and then save. Okay, the saving part for me, what I like to call the investment part. So once things that you desire but you don't really necessarily need it's not actually a compulsory, those things cut as much as you can. So the 50%, I get it. The rest of that 50%, you should be at least saving 30%, if not more, every single month of that money. And when I say saving, we'll come to that in a later, but we'll budget for we'll invest that. So pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. So as soon as you get paid, automatically set up such a way that we'll talk about that in a second. But pay yourself first is really important. So think of it like basically a bill you can't ignore. You have to pay it. So set aside a portion of your paycheck for savings, investing, and debt repayment before you start basically spending on anything else. Okay, this could be a fixed percentage or a specific dollar amount every single month, or pound amount, or whatever. Okay, but pay yourself first. And how do you do that? Okay, you allocate for the needs and wants first. Okay, so take care of that, like we were saying earlier. Divide your remaining basically paycheck into the two main categories: needs and wants. With, like I said early, needs are your essential expenses like the rent, groceries, and utilities. Wants are the things that you like, basically new gadgets you have been eyeing on and all of that stuff. So the big three, once you've taken care of that, so your food, your expenses for the food, for transportation, as your housing, then do whatever else you need to do after that. And the most important one for me is automate your savings and bills. Really, genuinely, this helped me a lot. As soon as I get paid, so this is what I used to do. As soon as I get paid, I will automate it such a way that portion of my income goes straight into an account that was different to my normal account. That was my savings, but it wasn't really savings. That was my investment account, and it still is up to today. If you look at that account, all you see is basically money coming in from my main account and then money coming out to just the investment platforms. That's it. Okay, so move that money straight away. Once you got whatever is left, then you just have to deal with that. So if you get £3,000 and you basically put 1,000 away into that account, you've got £2,000 left to survive on. For me, that was it. That was my mentality. I not only have £2,000, I'm gonna deal with it. And guess what? You will make it happen. I promise you. Try it for a few months and it will become a habit. That is one thing that genuinely saved me. If you're getting £2,000, put £500 into that account and forget it. And you've got 1,500 to pay off your bills, to live over that month, and do whatever basically happens. Don't get into debt. Don't get credit cards and all of that stuff. Okay, and track your progress and adjust it. So every couple of months, every few months, basically check it again, see where you are. Are you sticking to your basically needs and wants? Do you need to actually slightly change it, readjust it? Maybe it's too much and you might be buying too many, I don't know, this and that. You can cut this part, you can cut that part, as long as you're cutting things down rather than just adding more money to the basically the needs and wants. Okay, More money should be going to the investment. You should be squeezing as much as you can out of your needs and wants to invest it. And the reason is because you can live off freely, inshallah, in the long run. So what do? Reaching your financial goals is a marathon. It is not a sprint. It's not going to happen the first week or the second week. So be patient with yourself and be consistent and do the things that we talked about today for a period of time, maybe a year or two. While you're doing that, start thinking about, changing your mentality. Because once you start thinking about your retirement and your family and all of that, I think your mentality will change. Because that's what happened to me and that's what changed me. Okay, so that hopefully, and celebrate as much as you can when it comes to your little, like if we go back here, if for example you paid off a debt, okay, celebrate that, be happy with that. On debt payment is one of those things that everybody should be focusing on. Once you pay that debt, they actually celebrate that. And then what? So you saved it now, 500 or £1,000 every single month for the last 3, 4, 5 months. You've got a little bit of a emergency fund that will help you just in case anything happens. Then start investing. Open up stocks and shares ISA account or 401k, for example, or IRSAs and all of that stuff. Okay. And then open up, once you've got these things open, okay, get Sharia compliant investment, compliant ETFs, for example, high quality individual stocks. Buy property if you can. Once you saved enough, you might want to buy a property. You might buy real estate or whatever property whatever you want to call it. And then start a business. If you have the business skills, you've got a bit of capital, things that other people don't know. You can tutor students online, or you could do this, or you've got other skills that's required. That's a business. That's something that you could potentially make money off. That even if that gives you a few £100 a month, that will take care of your expenses maybe, or your car insurance or something along those lines. So like I said to you guys, I'm not a guru. This is basic information, but basic information that all of us need, and inshallah we will get there. But you need to start thinking about this, and you need to start doing it now rather than waiting for a few months down the line. Next month when you get paid, automate it such a way that the money that you want to save and invest goes straight to another account as soon as it happens, and then you leave off with whatever's left. Don't get into credit cards. Take care of your needs once. Then the saving part should get bigger as you go along, inshallah. And once you get into investing and you see your money growing, wallah, your mentality will change. Inshallah, it will. And that's exactly what's happened for me. Once I've started seeing this portfolio growing, it actually changed my mentality. And then while I was doing this, I was able to buy a property for cash for over £70,000 that I saved to myself. And that is now generating over £500 a month in rental income. This is producing about close to £200 a month of dividends. And inshallah, if I continue doing this for the next 20 years, inshallah, by the time I'm 56 or whatever, then hopefully I can say, do you know what, I've had enough. I'm going to take a break, or even take a break before then. Whatever happens, inshallah, whatever happens, only Allah knows what's going to happen tomorrow. But at least then I can leave this portfolio to my children if that something happens to me tomorrow. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. Please, if you're finding any of the things that we're trying to do here, help us by going into the Patreon account where you can access to all of these things just for 15p per day, inshallah. Anyway, I'm going to stop the video here. Have a wonderful day. Assalamu Alaikum.